The screen glows, notifications flicker, a message pings, a browser tab blinks, your mind races. You promised yourself you'd finish this task in 20 minutes. Now an hour has vanished. What happened? You're not weak. You're not lazy. You're simply human, caught in a war between your biology and a world designed to hijack your attention. Let's ask the uncomfortable question. Why can't you focus? Picture this. A college student, Sarah, sits down to study for her final exams. She opens her laptop, silences her phone, and starts reading. 3 minutes later, a notification pops up. Breaking news, local politician caught in scandal. She swipes it away. But now, her mind isn't on her textbook. It's on the scandal. What happened? Why was she so easily derailed? Here's the truth. Your brain is a survival machine, not a productivity tool. It evolved to scan for threats, not to sit still and write emails. Every time you try to focus, you're fighting millions of years of evolution. And in the modern age, the battlefield is worse than ever. Your phone isn't just a device, it's a slot machine. Every scroll, every swipe, every tap delivers a dopamine hit, training your brain to crave distraction. But this isn't just about willpower, it's about understanding the mechanics of attention. Focus isn't a fixed trait, it's a skill, a muscle. And like any muscle, it can be strengthened or shredded by poor habits. Let's dissect the crisis. First, the myth of multitasking. Your brain doesn't multitask. It switches tasks, burning energy every time it reloads context. Imagine trying to read a book while switching pages every 30 seconds. That's your brain on distraction. Second, the hidden cost of quick checks. A study from the University of California found that it takes 23 minutes to regain focus after an interruption. Third, your environment. Open offices, push notifications, and endless tabs aren't neutral, they're adversaries. This isn't just about productivity, it's about reclaiming agency over your life. Every moment you waste chasing distractions is a moment stolen from your goals, your relationships, your potential. Ready to fight back? Let's begin with the first principle. You're not distracted because you lack willpower. You're distracted because your brain is wired to seek novelty. Meet James, a software engineer. Every morning, he vows to tackle his most complex project first. By 9:15 a.m., he's responding to Slack messages. By 10 a.m., he's in a meeting he didn't need to attend. By noon, he's doom scrolling on Twitter, wondering why he hasn't written a single line of code. James's problem isn't time management, it's attention management. His brain, like yours, operates in two modes: scattered focus, reactive, fragmented, and directed focus, deliberate, singular. Scattered focus feels urgent but achieves little. Directed focus feels rare but transformative. Here's the science. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, can only hold 4 to 7 pieces of information at once. Every time you switch tasks, you trash this limited workspace. Neuroscientist Earl Miller calls multitasking a myth that makes us less effective. Worse, constant switching floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone, creating a vicious cycle of anxiety and distraction. The fix? Treat attention like a currency. Every minute you spend half-focused is money flushed down the drain. Directed focus requires ruthlessly guarding your focus units. Imagine you have 5 units of attention per hour. Checking Instagram? That's 1 unit gone. Responding to an email? Another unit. Suddenly, your brain's capacity is depleted, leaving nothing for the task that matters. A Stanford study compared heavy multitaskers to focused individuals. The multitaskers performed worse on memory tests, cognitive control, and attention span. Why? Their brains became conditioned to low-level chaos, unable to filter irrelevant stimuli. How to rewire? Start small, pick one task, close all browser tabs, silence your phone, set a timer for 15 minutes. This isn't about discipline, it's about creating friction for distractions. Over time, your brain will relearn the joy of immersion. Your focus is a superpower, but only if you stop giving it away for free. You can't outthink a tired, dehydrated, sugar-crashed body. Consider Maya, a marketing executive. She skips breakfast, chugs 3 cups of coffee, and works late into the night. By 3 p.m., her brain feels like mush. She blames her laziness. The real culprit? Her physiology. Your body isn't separate from your mind. It's the foundation. Let's break it down. Sleep debt. A 2023 study in Nature found that sleep deprivation shrinks the prefrontal cortex's gray matter by 10% in just 1 week. That's the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and focus. If you're sleeping 5 hours a night, you're operating at 90% cognitive capacity, equivalent to a blood alcohol level of 0.05%. Hydration. Even mild dehydration, 2% loss of body weight, impairs attention. When you wake up in the morning, you're already mildly dehydrated. Drink water before touching your phone. Nutrition. That 3 p.m. crash isn't weakness, it's glucose dysregulation. Processed carbs spike your blood sugar, then crash it. Swap the bagel for eggs and avocado. Stabilize your energy. Stabilize your focus. Movement. Sitting for hours isn't just bad for your spine, it's bad for your brain. Exercise increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that fuels neuron growth. Even a 10-minute walk boosts focus for 90 minutes afterward. Maya's solution? She shifted her routine. 7 hours of sleep, a glass of water first thing, a walk during lunch breaks. Within 2 weeks, her afternoon fog lifted. This isn't self-care fluff, it's neuroscience. Your brain runs on electricity and chemistry. Treat your body like a high-performance engine. Fuel it right, maintain it, and it'll deliver. Time isn't the enemy. Unstructured time is. The Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest, is a classic. But here's the secret. It's not about the numbers. It's about rhythm. Meet Carlos, a novelist. He'd stare at a blank page for hours, paralyzed. Then he tried Pomodoro. 45 minutes of writing, 15 minutes of walking. He completed his first draft in 6 weeks. Why? Pomodoro leverages ultradian rhythms, your body's natural 90-minute cycles of high alertness followed by fatigue. But here's how most people fail. They treat breaks as free time. They check social media, which floods the brain with new stimuli, erasing the mental clarity built during the work session. The key? Breaks should be unstimulating. Walk, meditate, stare at a wall. Let your brain enter default mode, where creativity and problem-solving thrive. A Harvard study found that daydreaming after focused work improves insight by 40%. Another twist: stack Pomodoros. Finish 4 sessions? Take a 30-minute recharge break. Nap, cook, read fiction. This isn't laziness, it's strategic. Carlos's rule: no screens during breaks. He walks in a park, listens to ambient noise, or does dishes. The result? Deeper immersion in his work sessions. Pomodoro isn't a timer. It's a pact between your focused self and your resting self. Honor both. Motivation is a side effect of momentum, not its predecessor. Let's debunk the lie. I'll wait until I feel ready. You won't, because motivation follows action, not the other way around. Think of focus like a boulder on a hill. Pushing it uphill feels impossible until you build enough speed. Once it rolls, Inertia keeps it moving. Annika, a graphic designer, waited for inspiration to strike before designing. She'd waste hours tweaking her workspace. Then she adopted a ritual. 8 a.m. sharp, open her design software, start with a 10-minute warm-up sketch. Within days, her procrastination vanished. The science? Dopamine isn't just a reward chemical, it's a driver of action. Your brain releases it before you achieve a goal, propelling you forward. Start small, get the dopamine hit, and ride the wave. Another angle: willpower is finite. A study in psychological science found that decision fatigue reduces focus by 30%. That's why routines matter. If you schedule focus time daily, you bypass the draining should I, shouldn't I debate. Your environment must enforce this. Annika's rule: phone in another room, no exceptions. She stopped relying on willpower and started relying on systems. Motivation isn't the spark. It's the fire you build by showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Focus isn't a state, it's a ceremony. Every morning at 5 a.m., author Haruki Murakami writes, he eats the same breakfast, listens to the same jazz playlists, and runs 6 miles. Why? Rituals signal to your brain, this is focus time. Rituals work because they bypass decision-making. A 2021 study in cognition found that pre-task rituals reduce anxiety and improve performance by up to 25%. Take Liam, a musician. He'd waste hours scrolling before practice. Then he created a ritual. Turn on a desk lamp, light a candle, play a 5-minute warm-up scale. Within weeks, his practice sessions deepened. Here's the formula. Anchor: a physical action, lighting a candle, putting on headphones. Environment: a dedicated focus space, even a corner of your room. Consistency: same time, same routine daily. Even small rituals matter. Before starting a task, say aloud, I'm focusing on X until Y. This verbal commitment activates your prefrontal cortex, priming your brain for discipline. Rituals aren't superstition, they're psychological scaffolding. There's no such thing as a quick check. You glance at your phone. Just a quick check. 2 minutes later, you're reading an article about AI replacing jobs. You return to your spreadsheet, but your brain feels foggy. That's the attention residue effect. Psychologist Sophie Leroy coined the term to describe how your mind remains stuck on the previous task after a switch. Even a 10-second interruption leaves a mental hangover. A University of London study found that IQ scores drop by 10 points after frequent interruptions, equivalent to losing a night's sleep. The fix? Batch your distractions. Check emails twice daily, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Silence all non-urgent notifications. Use apps like Freedom or Cold Turkey to block social media during work hours. Elena, a CEO, implemented no-switch rules for her team. 90-minute blocks of uninterrupted work, no meetings, no messages. Productivity soared by 40%. Your attention is a river. Distractions are rocks. They don't just slow you down, they create turbulence. Smooth the flow, and you'll move faster than ever. Focus follows purpose like a compass needle follows north. You can hack your environment, optimize your sleep, and master Pomodoro. But if your task feels meaningless, your brain will rebel. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about significance. Tasks aligned with your values trigger effortless focus. Jaden, a teacher, dreaded grading papers. Then he reframed it. Each essay is a window into a student's growth. His dread turned into curiosity. Here's the science. The anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, drives attention toward what matters. When you connect a task to a larger why, the ACC lights up, fueling persistence. Action step. Before starting a task, write down why it matters. Example: This report isn't just busy work, it'll help my team secure funding. This workout isn't just exercise, it's investing in my health. Even mundane tasks can be imbued with meaning. A janitor at NASA told JFK, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." Find your moonshot. Focus isn't a grind when you're building something that matters. Your mind can't focus when it's drowning in unfinished tasks. Imagine a desktop cluttered with 100 open windows. That's your brain when you're juggling mental to-dos. The solution? Externalize everything. David Allen's Getting Things Done, GTD method, works because it frees your prefrontal cortex from holding reminders. Write down every task, idea, and obligation. Zara, an overwhelmed student, started journaling her thoughts each morning. She listed assignments, worries, and goals. Within days, her anxiety faded. Here's how. Capture. Dump all tasks into a notebook or app. Clarify. Break projects into next actions. Write outline for essay. Review. Weekly check-ins to update priorities. Mental clarity isn't about willpower. It's about having a system to trust. You've reached the end, but this is the beginning. Focus isn't about perfection. It's about making better choices, one micro decision at a time. Every time you silence your phone, hydrate, or take a walk, you're voting for the life you want. The world will keep throwing distractions. But now you have the tools. Guard your focus units like gold. Treat your body as your brain's foundation. Build rituals that prime you for immersion. Reclaim meaning in every task. Start small. Pick one principle. Master it. Stack another. And remember, every great achievement in history was built not by multitasking, but by someone who refused to give their focus away. What will you create when your attention is finally yours?
Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was insightful and educative. If you like this video, do well to click like, share, and subscribe for more insightful videos like this. See you later. Bye.